Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm Amr, and today the entire Reach 5 group, sadly minus our friend Esther, are up in London at Western University with me, so they're going to be helping us out during this video. And today we're going to be making Anna Olsen's sticky buns, cinnamon buns, and they have a maple glaze on top. I really like her recipes. I think I used her in my last cooking video because her recipes are really straightforward to follow, and the ingredients are usually stuff that people have around the house. With that being said, let's get started. Hey everyone, we're back. I'm here with Ardy, and we are going to jump into the ingredients. So the recipe is split up into 3 parts. The back row here are the ingredients for the dough, the middle row are the ingredients needed for the maple glaze, and the front row are the ingredients needed for the filling. So for the dough, you're going to need 1¼ cup of milk, just above body temperature. You're going to need 1 package of instant dry yeast, which is about 8 grams. You're going to need 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 large egg at room temperature, 1/4 cup of melted butter, we're going to melt this later on, 3½ cups of flour with 3/4 teaspoon of salt.
And now for the second portion, for the maple glaze, we're going to need 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, 1 cup of light brown sugar, and 1/2 cup of maple syrup. And then for the filling, we're going to need 2/3 of a cup of light brown sugar and 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon and 3 tablespoons of butter as well.
Okay, I'm here with Nidaal, and for the dough it's actually pretty simple. You just add all of the ingredients into the flour salt mixture. So we're going to start by adding the melted butter. And now we're going to add the milk. So the reason why the milk was just above body temperature is because if you added milk right from the fridge into this, the butter would harden right away.
Then we'll add the egg and the sugar. And lastly, the instant yeast. Alright, now is the time for mixing the ingredients.
Okay, so you're really going to want to make sure that you scrape down the sides, get all of the dough and flour off the sides. So when it gets to kind of this texture, you're going to kind of want to start to kind of do like a lifting motion to try to kind of incorporate all of the leftover flour that's on the bottom onto the top. And then after you've done that and you feel like you've gotten it fairly mixed, it shouldn't look super duper like perfectly soft and smooth like how like the baker's dough and stuff looks like on all those videos and stuff. But once it kind of gets to here, we are going to flour the counter, and we're just going to dump this out and do the rest of it by hand. Okay, so we're just going to dump the dough onto our floured surface, just like that, and you can just use your hands to get the excess off the spatula. So I'm going to hand this over to Ardy to take off the set, and basically you're just going to kind of work the dough with your palm, just kind of like that, and eventually it will just get more and more kind of cohesive and less ragged. Okay, so the dough is not done just yet, but I'm here with Ardy and he wants to learn how to knead the dough, so I'm going to try to teach the both of you how. So the motion is mainly the palm of your right hand. You're going to use the palm and your fingertips of your left hand. But to start with, you're going to kind of pinch the dough with your palm, and then you're going to kind of cup it with your left hand, with your fingertips, and then you're going to kind of lift it up with your palm of your right hand, and then you're going to kind of, as you're lifting it up, you're going to see how the dough is kind of being separated and split in half. And then you're just going to kind of push down. So it's kind of like you're kind of separating the dough a little bit, and then you're going to be pushing the dough into itself, and then using your fingertips of your left hand just to kind of pull it back over. And once you get better, you're going to start going a lot faster, and you're going to be wanting to do this for about 5 minutes. And you might want to keep adding a bit of flour just to your work surface because the dough might get a little bit sticky. So we're going to hand it over to Ardy, and he is going to give this a try.
I'm going to give it my best shot. Alright, so he said, hold it with my left hand and then push it.
So you're going to want to kind of pinch the dough between your palms to start with, and then push down. So you got to remember the pinching, because that's what kind of separates the dough into 2 parts. See how it's kind of separated? So that when you push down, you're kind of folding it in on itself.
Let's do this. Oh god. Not as easy as he makes it.
You're forgetting the palms.
I'm trying.
Palms over. Over. Or just literally think about holding the dough like this and then just folding it over.
Okay, so I hold my hand here, right? Like this?
Yeah, and then push down.
And bring it like this.
That's a little bit better.
Alright.
Okay, so you know that the dough is done because you're able to form it into a pretty solid ball, and it looks pretty well combined, and it looks pretty smooth on top. There'll be a few kind of wrinkles here and there, but overall the dough looks like it's been pretty well mixed, and it looks like it feels pretty well soft and flexible. So the next step is we are just going to go and put this into a metal bowl. We're going to put a little bit of oil. If you have vegetable oil, it's better. Unfortunately, we only have olive oil, so that's what we're going to go with. But just a very, very little bit, just to kind of cover the surface of the dough. And you are going to put a tea towel and just cover the bowl like this. And you are going to go and put this in a warm, dark place for an hour and a half to 2 hours. So I am going to go and put this in my bed under the covers and wrap it up so it's nice and cozy, and we will see you in an hour and a half after the dough has risen, and it should double in size. Okay, we're back and the dough has risen for 2 hours. So as you can see, it really has doubled in size. We are going to go and just set this aside for now, and we're going to come back to the dough later. And Jania, what are we going to do now?
Now we're going to move on to the glaze. So grab yourself a saucepan, and you need the maple syrup, butter, and brown sugar, and we're going to combine it all in here and put it on the stove. Okay, so first we're going to grab the butter, and we're going to just drop it in without the paper. Second, with the maple syrup. Try to get as much off the bowl. You can use a spoon to scrape it if you like. And third, the brown sugar. Sorry. Okay, now it's done. I've been stirring it for about 2 to 3 minutes. It's bubbly and it's ready to go. So now we're going to transfer it into a 9x13 inch pan greased with butter. And after you pour it out, just scoop out the rest.
Okay, so now that the glaze is done, we've just put it aside to cool down a little bit. So now we're going to roll out the dough. So we have the dough, like I said before, it's risen quite a bit. So we are just going to go and turn this out onto a lightly floured surface. And we are going to go and roll it so that it is, I think it was 18 inches by 12 inches into a rectangle, but all of the instructions will be linked below. So yeah, so Nidaal, give it a roll.
If it rolls.
It might be a good idea to flour the rolling pin a bit as well, just so it doesn't stick. We'll be back when this is all rolled out. Okay, so this is all rolled out, and we could just double check with a ruler, and we can see that it is 12 by, should measure about 6. That is 6, so 12 by 18. So now we're going to prepare the filling. It's really simple, and we are going to get Ardy to help us out with that, and we'll be right back.
Okay, for this part, we're going to add the cinnamon to the brown sugar, which is for the filling of the cinnamon. So now let's mix. Now that the mixing is done, we're just going to butter the surface of the dough and then sprinkle the brown sugar on top of it.
Okay, so now that we have buttered the dough, we are going to sprinkle the filling on top, and we're going to put a pretty generous layer, so we're going to use all of the sugar. It looks like it's a lot, and it is, but that's what's going to make these taste really, really good. So me and Nidaal are going to go and do it together and just try to get right to the edges and put as much sugar as you can. If you have any of these clumps and stuff, try to break them up a little bit, because you don't want massive clumps, but if there's clumps here and there, it's not the end of the world. So we'll be back when this is all done. Okay, so me and Jania are here, and the filling has been put all over the dough, so now we're just going to roll it up. So we're going to start from the middle and corner, and we're going to roll it pretty tight. And then we're just going to kind of keep following through, and we're going to want to lift just a little bit to make sure that we can actually get the cinnamon and stuff. And we're just going to go all the way down, and if you did it in a nice rectangle, if you rolled the dough up properly, it should roll up pretty easily, and it should be pretty even in terms of width all the way through. We're done. Okay, so it's all rolled up, and now we are just going to go and slice it into 12 as even as we can segments. So we're going to start by slicing it in half. We're going to use a really sharp knife so it doesn't pull on the dough. This is actually my deceased grandfather's knife, so it's a really, really sharp knife, and it's hopefully going to do the job for us. So we're going to just try to slice as evenly as we can down the center. Even this is pulling on the dough just a little bit, but it's better than most knives. So now we're going to chop this out of the way. Let's see if we can get a nice inner shot for you to see all the layers and cinnamon and stuff like that. So now Jania and Ardy are going to step in, and they're going to chop up the rest of these for us. Okay, so these are chopped up into 12 as even as we could pieces. Good job to Jania and Ardy. I think they actually did a pretty good job. So next up, we are going to put them into the greased baking pan with the glaze. So we're quite literally just going to go and pick each piece up and just set it down in the goo, just like that. And we'll be back once all of these are done. I know that these look really, really good right now to eat, but we're not ready just yet. These need to go and rise for another 45 minutes. So we're going to cover it with a tea towel just like how I did and set it aside for another 45 minutes, and then we're going to be right back and we're going to go and pop it into the oven. Okay, so now we are just going to go and put them into the oven. The oven is preheated at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and they are going to bake for about 45 minutes until they are golden brown. So let's open up the oven. I can feel the heat from here. Nice and toasty. You're going to put these right inside like that, and we will be back in about 45 minutes. Okay, so these are fresh out of the oven. They've baked for 40 to 45 minutes, and they have a nice golden brown coloring on top. So we're not done just yet, and I feel bad because I hate saying that, and I've said that a lot, but this is the last thing, I promise. We just need to let these cool off for about 15 minutes, and then we are basically just going to invert the pan, and all of them are going to come out with that nice maple glaze on top. If you flip them right now, the glaze at the bottom is very liquidy and very hot, and one, there's a risk of you burning yourself, and two, as soon as you flip it over, all of the glaze is just going to go everywhere because it's very liquidy. So we'll be back in about 15 minutes for the final part of this recipe. I know it's been a long recipe, but we're almost at the end. Just bear with me, and we'll see you in 15 minutes. Okay, we are back. We're all here. Nidaal's filming. It's been cooling for 15 minutes, so this is the most fun part, but also the hardest part. So I've gotten a knife and I kind of run it along the edges just to kind of separate the buns, making sure that they're not going to stick anywhere. Now we're going to invert the pan. So the easiest way to do this is to get a cutting board. If you have a larger one, it would work a little bit better, but we don't. So you're going to hold it like this, and then Ardy or Jania is going to put their hand here. And then, or maybe we should have Ardy too. We're going to flip it on 3. 1, 2, 3. You can let go of your hand now. Put it back down. And now we're just gonna bang it a little bit. You can see they're already coming out. And there are your sticky buns. If you give them a little bit more time to cool, they would drip a little bit less. But yeah, there's all 12 of them. You can kind of separate them with a knife. But there you have it. Hey everyone, so it's the next day. It was getting a little bit late last night, so I wanted to wait till today to go and film this part of the video to give it the attention it deserves. So for the charity spotlight of today's video, I wanted to talk about the Ronald Mcdonald House organization. They provide children of sick families a warm and compassionate place to stay while their child receives treatment. These families usually come from locations that don't have children's hospitals around, so it gives them the opportunity to stay close to their child while they receive treatment. They not only provide a place to stay, but they also provide other services such as sibling support services, recreational services, as well as special suites for children with suppressed immune systems to stay at. And there are multiple ways you can get involved. You can go and donate at the link below, but my friends and I had the opportunity in first year to actually go to a Ronald Mcdonald House and bake goods for the families that were there. So I'll try to put a picture over here of when we went, but it was a great experience for us and we really loved being able to bake to give back. And I'm really hoping that if you're interested in getting involved, you can either donate at the link below or find out some other ways. I think they do fundraisers, I think they do marathons and stuff. They do a bunch of different things and there's a bunch of ways for you to get involved. So that concludes this video. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you try out the cinnamon buns, please let me know how it turns out in the comments below. And if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more of what me and my friendos are up to. Thanks!